What are the qualities you think that your generation is going to bring forward? Because quite soon, after all, it's going to be the dominant generation.
Yes, well, this is the formulation of I don't really want to formulate a new code of living or code of morals or anything like that. Or nor does, I don't think anyone of this generation wants to. One really has to see it that for the first thing is that the open rebellions, not so much in this country, perhaps as in others, such as America, which are the race riots, for instance. I mean, the race riots in America are not totally on race, you know. This would include a large section of young people in America. These are people that are the worst ones, the worst treated. This is where it will start, here. But there are lots of other people, especially on the west coast of America, who disagree, but perhaps aren't as badly treated or are much better off. But there's a basic thing between them all. It's not just a colour thing. It's against the whole system, which the system to those people which has done them no good at all. Otherwise, they wouldn't be looting and burning.
Clearly, I mean, there are all kinds of sort of ugly and dangerous aspects to this, which you get into very rapidly.
Yes.
And this is the problem, isn't it? When you go for freedom, I mean, you are immediately up against what are the sort of definitions of freedom, the limits of freedom.
Yes. Well, this has to be achieved. But I mean, most of any leaders of this kind of freedom movement have been very negative in their approach. I think because, like Leary, for instance, because they felt it's the logical first step to being negative. In other words, you know, drop out.
I mean, you wouldn't really go with Tim Leary.
But I wouldn't, and I'm sure he wouldn't go, as to say that was the final answer. That's just his sort of start to it. And I think perhaps that negative start, very simple, one which everyone can understand, is perhaps a start. I'm sure he wouldn't go to say that was the last word. But to formulate something new, I haven't formulated anything.
Yeah. Well, I sympathise very much.
But could one be against something in virtue of something more positive? You're against it because you reject it, but you reject it in terms of something which you believe
something
in.
else, yes, but there's certain aspects of it which one doesn't perhaps mind so much. But some of the things, it appears, both in America and Western Europe, that the freedom of the individual is being slowly curtailed. The freedom of this communication has become faster. The freedom of being in control or having anything to do with one. In this country, it seems to be working towards complete state monopoly of radio and television. Perhaps not controlled by the government, certainly, in some sort of...
But isn't the problem today that as a result largely of these communications, the quicker our freedoms touch other people's freedoms, our lives touch other people's lives, and therefore we are immediately, much more quickly, up against this question of the limits of freedom without, in fact, creating chaos or danger.
No, I don't think it's going to do with it. I don't think individual freedom is affected by mass communication in that way at all.
No, but I mean, I sympathise with you in the way in which this is clamped down on, and I would be very strong if the law, the function of the law, is precisely to protect freedom rather than prohibit and suppress freedom, and we're very quickly, I agree, getting into a position where the law is instinctively thought of as against freedom rather than for freedom.
Well, it is,
and
of course. I mean, it's a fallacious argument to say that the law is for freedom, really.
But you would say
especially in lots of, I mean, in cases against, in obvious cases against the individual wrong in society, such as hitting an old lady over the head or something. This is obvious.
Well, I mean, you would not dissent, would you, from the view that, after all, the law tries to intervene between people in order to protect their individual sphere of freedom?
No, I'd say that...
one person doing harm to another, to prevent one person trespassing on another's sphere of free action. Do you really... Is it really freedom that you would seek to promote, or a kind of, shall I say, intensity of living? I mean, you have the two are not very far apart in a sense, are they? Your appeal to the many people who enjoy your presence, is it really an appeal to develop themselves, to live fully, to live freely in that sense without trespassing on other persons' freedom and without
Yes.
doing harm
They
to other
should
people.
never trespass on other people's freedom.
Yes, but the law changes, doesn't it? As
It
we were just
changes,
pointing out.
yes, it
Isn't
does
isn't
change, but it takes all these things that we're having to go through and all these other things to try and change it.